Okay, we are here and we have our part two of a very sexy topic, at least to you, not to me. Balance sheets part two. So, welcome everyone. I didn't even put Megan's title up there, but she is my virtual CFO. I'm going to put it up right now. She helps me figure out my financials and those of my clients as well. So here we go. Tell me why you think balance sheets are sexy. And if you haven't watched part one, go watch it from last week, but this is part two. So what are we talking about today, Mary?
Yeah. So if you are a perfectionist, balance sheets are going to be your bestest friend in the whole wide world, because a balance sheet, if you can get your balance sheet right, your income statement's right. And your balance sheet can be reconciled. Your balance sheet, you can go through every account. You can go through your bank account and say, is that how much cash I really had at that day? Is that how much debt I really owed on that day? Is that you can reconcile each one of those accounts and know that they're right. And it feels so good. It feels so good, right?
It does feel good. And I'm getting an echo. I will admit to everyone that our little sessions here that I'm having with Megan is making me go look at my stuff even closer than I've ever looked at it before. And yesterday or 2 days ago, when I was looking at my balance sheet, I went, what is that? And sure enough, something is sitting in the wrong account. And I love what you just said. If you can fix your balance sheet, your income statement is automatically correct.
Right.
So we don't have to worry about our income statement so much, as long as we are focusing on our balance sheet.
Correct. And so last time I showed you the fancy pantsy little 3 sticks, right? Like the top stick was your asset, and then the liability and the equity are the same length together as your asset, right? Hence balance sheet. They balance with each other. So what do we do with it? Now we have it. Okay, great, Megan. Now what? What do I do with it? Okay.
Yeah.
So now we start to get curious, right? Like you found a little thing that seemed a little off and you were able to ask questions and go dig into it and figure it out. And we can actually take those questions and be broader with them too. Like curiosity is my favorite thing ever. It takes out the judgment. It takes out the subjectivity. It's just like, well, what I think this is a thing, but let's go find out. Let's dig. And so as you go down your balance sheet, there are certain questions that you want to ask yourself. And I'm not going to cover, there's a jillion questions that you could ask yourself, but here's a starting point for you. Think of it that way, as a starting point. Okay. So we're going to start up at the top in the asset section, where your cash is, right? This is what I have. This is my stuff. This is my cash. These are my things. Maybe if I put in headphones, I don't know where my headphones are.
Are you getting feedback too?
A little bit. I don't know. I mowed the lawn with my headphones, so they're probably out in the garage.
I'm not hearing any feedback on you.
Okay. All right. So we're going to ask ourselves then, we're looking at these assets, and the question is, how much of this is mine? What of this do I get to keep? So looking at your cash, not all your cash is necessarily yours, right? Your clients may have paid you for a project where you are bringing in outside help. You have employees that you need to pay. Taxes. You might owe taxes that cash doesn't belong to you. You might have other long-term outstanding debt that you're making service payments on, and you need that cash for that, right? So really, you want to know how much is free, how much is mine, to figure out what I want to do with. And then you can answer the question, well, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to invest it in something and help grow my business? Am I going to take some out and reward myself? Am I going to leave some there just as this comfortable cushion that I know that when hard times hit will be there for me to rely on, and it gives me that breathing space to really be creative and playful in my business in ways that other businesses can't? And that's really fun. So first question, asset section, how much is mine?
Okay.
All right. Then we can move down to the liability section, and we're going to ask, do I have a plan for this? Right? Like, if it is the case that I do not particularly have the cash for covering my liabilities, which is the case in most businesses, what is the plan? Am I just looking at the minimum payment on my credit cards and saying, yeah, it's good enough for now because I've got stuff going on. It's good enough for now. Or is there an actual long-term plan of this is exactly how I'm going to pay this off? And so I can start building that cushion in my business and start building my retirement or building whatever it is that your purpose of your business is for. Do I have a plan for it? And at this point, all I want you to answer is yes or no. You don't necessarily have to start. If your answer is no, you don't have to start formulating that plan right now. I just want you to know that the answer is no. And be truthful with yourself. You're not doing yourself any favors if you're saying, yeah, I got a plan. My plan is the minimum payments. What do you ask? If the answer is no, the answer is no, but you need to know that it's really giving yourself a boost by knowing that.
Okay.
Yeah. So do I have a plan for it? The one thing I do want to point out is sometimes there are hidden liabilities that never reach your balance sheet. Like, for instance, like the example that I gave, like a customer gave you a deposit, they gave you a $10,000 deposit on their project, and you know that $5,000 is going to go out the door in cabinetry. You may know that cognitively, but if your accounting isn't putting like purchase orders or things like that in a liability account, we need to know that.
Okay, you are going in and out a little bit. So you're saying if you're not designating in your QuickBooks a liability such as a purchase order that's pending, that's going to be going out, like you're not doing it through your QuickBooks, you may have more liability than is showing on your balance sheet.
Yeah, that's when you'll want to start breaking it out into accounts, right? Like when the money comes in, when that $10,000 comes in, maybe you want a bank account that you're putting, like, I know this $5,000 isn't mine, it's going to go to furniture. So you take that $5,000 and you automatically put it in that asset account. And so when you see that account on your balance sheet, you're like, oh, that's not mine. Or a tax account, and you see that account, you're like, well, that's not mine either.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's assets and then liabilities.
Do I have a plan? What's the plan?
Do I have a plan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You want to make sure that your liabilities are serving you. We do sometimes get into the trap of, like, credit card debt, especially of like putting the onus on our future selves to take care of whatever this credit card purchase is right now. Like, my future self will take care of it. For now, this is just it's a Band-Aid. That's fine-ish. We can talk about that. But what's the plan? What's the plan? If whatever you are invested with that liability should be paying you back more than the cost of the liability and the interest on top of it. So I just want to know, is there a plan? And then we can dig deeper into further details. And that's hard to do on a one-to-many presentation.
Yes, that's where the detail comes in. That's where, if you're needing a plan to grow your business, that's going to be me, right? I'm Market Yourself in sales. And if you need a plan on how to, well, I mean, you're teaching people how to read their finances, how to make a plan financially to address these liabilities that might be out there, and how to get their books balanced and understand their balance sheet and their income statement and their QuickBooks and all that fun stuff. And you happen to love it.
I do.
Which blows my mind.
I'm glad you do. One of these days you're going to come on here and you're going to be like, I love it so much. I love it.
I'm working on the whole I loving it thing, but I think you're right. What you said in the beginning is, if you are a perfectionist and you're not looking at your books and you're not understanding your balance sheet, it is gnawing at you when you're sleeping at night. It's like, it's a little like, I really should bring my QuickBooks up to date. I really should reconcile my accounts. I really don't understand my numbers. And it's something, as the CEO of your business, you need to do, which is why you're one of the sub-coaches in my business, because my one-on-ones get a session with you when they're ready, when I've gotten them to a certain point so they can really dig into their numbers. But if you don't need business coaching, go right to Megan and learn your numbers. learn your numbers, because it is hugely important to run your business effectively. You really do need to not be a ostrich and put your head in the sand. You need to pull it out and make sure you look at it long enough to start to absorb some of the information. And it does take time to really start to understand if you're coming from a position of not really understanding in the past.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a process. It's a process, but it's empowering.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's people come to me and they're tentative at first, and then at the end they're like,
Yes.
You ever have one of those deep tissue massages that hurt, and at the end it's like, that's just what I needed?
It does feel so good to know your numbers. It's just like it's a remarkable feeling to actually understand your numbers and understand your balance sheet and understand your income statement and understand your QuickBooks or your accounting system. It is something that every business owner needs to experience. So anyway, anything else you wanted to bring up today?
The equity at the end is just like tells the broad picture of how did we get here, like who invested, how much have we made since the beginning of time, what do I have in terms of equity that I could probably leverage to make some other choices in my business. So again, it's one of those things that's easier to talk about when we're looking at it one-on-one, because everybody's equity section can vary greatly on what's going on there, because it does have so many very high level, broad stories to tell.
Yes, love it. Okay. All right. So you guys know where to find me in one of two groups, the Interior Design Business Forum, or now the new group that I just started, the Coaching Hotspot. So if you are a coach or a consultant or an online business owner and you want to learn how to grow your business, the Coaching Hotspot is for you. And if you're an interior designer, the Interior Design Business Forum, which is about 6,500 people strong at this point, I believe, which is so cool. And Megan are you in the new one yet, the Coaching Hotspot?
I am not. I'm like, I got to write a note. I'm going to put that one down. I got to go get that.
Yeah, we're just starting it. So we're just starting to build content. By August 1st, it'll be up and running full steam ahead. So anyone who's a coach and consultant and want to know how I grew my business in the last 4.5 years, get there, because that's where I'm going to start sharing all kinds of little tidbits and secrets of how I got to where I am today from 4.5 years old, from 4.5 years ago, when I knew nothing about technology, nothing about online business, nothing about growing my email list, nothing about social media, to 4.5 years later, having a thriving business. So yeah. I'm ready to share all those secrets.
I don't know. If you want to emulate anybody, you want to emulate Nancy, because when she says stable, she means it. Like, she's got a steady business compared to some of these other coaches that I see. She'll not name names. I mean, up to like $600,000 a month in revenue. They got nothing. I mean, Nancy knows her stuff, and she preaches.
Thank you. Yeah. And I've made a lot of mistakes, right? And I'm ready to make sure you don't make them and just run right to the things that worked for me, as opposed to following a ton of gurus that their system didn't work for me. So I'm going to just share what worked for my business. And I think it really can work for everybody if you actually implement it right. So I'm excited. So, but still, my interior designers are where my heart is. So I'm still there all the time. So, all right, everyone, we'll see you next Tuesday. I will be live from Vegas next Tuesday. I'll be visiting my dad, but I'll still be here for Money Talk Tuesday with Megan. All right.
Bye,
everyone.